It must be great to be nominated for an Oscar. Hey, it's Michael, aka Oscar Man. And there have been several actors who received an Oscar nomination but didn't follow it up with work that earned them another chance at the statue. I'll begin with my favorite. Diana Ross was nominated as Best Actress for her film debut in 1972's Lady Sings the Blues. Now, unless you're new to the channel, and welcome, by the way, you know that I unequivocally believe that she should have won for her tour de force as Billie Holiday.
Come on. You're always hogging up the bathroom. You'll never give me a chance to get in the bathroom.
Oh, I'm getting so sick.
You better use this. Listen, if you gotta go, you better use this right now. Go on. Because I can't let you in the bathroom.
You want me to do it right here, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
What's the problem? Huh? Why are you sick? Come on.
What appeared to nearly everyone to be what was the beginning of a strong career in film sadly didn't materialize, as Ross followed her Oscar-nominated debut with 1975's Mahogany, which I actually liked, but the critics hated.
Because I'm a winner. I'm a winner, baby. These people love me, and you can't stand it.
And 1978's The Wiz, which I wasn't as thrilled with.
I'm on my way to find the Wiz. He's gonna get me back home.
And that was it. Diana Ross never made another film, though she starred in a couple of TV movies, including 1994's Out of Darkness, in which she was outstanding as a woman suffering from schizophrenia.
What's going on, Polly? What is going on, Polly?
Leave me alone! Don't let me!
I will not allow them to hurt you. We will not be allowed to hurt your baby.
If you enjoyed her performance in Lady Sings the Blues, check this one out, and you'll see that her Oscar nomination wasn't a fluke. In one of the most memorable screen debuts, Jay Davidson also had no prior acting experience before he landed the role of Dill in 1992's The Crying Game.
It's all right, Jimmy, I can take it. Just not on the face. See, I'm not a young thing any longer. It's funny the way things go. Don't you find that, Jimmy? Never the way you expected.
Raised in England, Davidson worked as a model before auditioning for what turned out to be his breakthrough performance, earning him a nomination as Best Supporting Actor.
I'm sorry, darling. Keep forgetting the leap year. What am I supposed to call you then, Jimmy?
Fergus.
Fergus. Fergus, my love. Light of my life.
Davidson's follow-up, 1994 Stargate, was the last major film in which he appeared, before he retired from acting. Davidson stated that he hated the fame that came with his Oscar-nominated role, and he returned to modeling, and he now works as a stylist. Oscar-nominated at the age of 10, Mary Badham was another nominee without any prior experience to her credit. Nominated for Best Supporting Actress in 1962's To Kill a Mockingbird, Badham's ability to perform naturally made her performance as Scout so believable.
Why does he bring you all this stuff?
He's paying me for some legal work I did for him.
Why does he pay you like this?
That's the only way he can. He has no money.
Is he poor?
Yes.
Are we poor?
We are indeed.
Badham auditioned for the role at a cattle call held in Alabama and was cast following a screen test in New York. She became lifelong friends with Gregory Peck, who acted as a father figure to the young actress. The two always referred to each other as Atticus and Scout whenever they spoke, and they stayed in touch until Peck's death in 2003. Mary Badham only appeared in 2 more films and a couple of television series, most notably The Twilight Zone, before she quit acting to become a wife and mother. Trivia: Mary Badham was at the time the youngest actress to be nominated for an Oscar, and she lost in the category to, of course, Patty Duke in The Miracle Worker, who became, at the time, the youngest Oscar winner in history. Catherine Burns made a strong film debut in 1969's The Last Summer, for which she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. As the shy outcast Rhoda, Burns delivered a searing performance in this haunting story of teenagers acting out while on vacation.
I spit on my mother's grave. When? At the cemetery. My father took me to see her grave, and we were walking away, and I ran back and spit on it.
Why?
She had no right to die like that. And leave me alone.
The film had a tragic ending, and the devastation that it brought to Burns' character was shocking.
I asked you to stop. I begged
Look,
you
I
to
can't
stop.
explain it, huh? I really can't explain it. Please.
You know I love you.
Catherine Burns attended the Oscar ceremony, though when her name was called, she didn't appear to take her chances of winning too seriously. For reasons unknown, Burns only appeared in 2 more films, and then some TV guest spots, before she retired from acting to become an author of children's books, stage plays, and a writer for the soap opera The Guiding Light. Later on, her husband stated that Burns hated Last Summer, as well as the scrutiny that came with being an Oscar-nominated actress. Catherine Burns died in 2019 at the age of 73. Howard E. Rollins Jr. made a smashing film debut in 1981's Ragtime, earning a Best Supporting Actor nomination for his role as Coalhouse Walker Jr.
On the way, why you put such a rage in my heart? Tell me what to do now. Please.
Despite receiving raves for his performance, Rollins only made 4 more films and over a dozen television appearances, the most successful being his co-starring role in the series In the Heat of the Night. Rollins struggled with addictions to drugs and alcohol, which resulted in his dismissal from the TV series. He served time in jail for a DUI and drug possession, which made it difficult for him to secure work. Sadly, Howard E. Rollins Jr. died of AIDS in 1996 at the age of 46. I think Ronnie Blakely should have won Best Supporting Actress for 1975's Nashville. Her performance as the fragile Barbara Jean was a standout in a film filled with excellent performances.
Well, Mom and I went home, and then what happened? See, I think, we went home, and I learned both sides of the record in half an hour, and we went back there and pranced in real fancy and told him that I'd learned them, and he said, well, let me hear this. So I sang him both sides of the record instead of just one, so he gave us 50 cents, and we went across the street and he had us a soda. Ever since then, I've been working. I think ever since then, I've been working, and
Though her career has been spent primarily as a singer-songwriter, including composing all of her songs in Nashville, Blakely followed up her triumphant first film with appearances in A Nightmare on Elm Street and several B movies, in addition to episodic series such as The Love Boat and Hotel. As she continues to perform her music, Ronnie Blakely will always be known for her Oscar-nominated work in Nashville. I would say that the Oscar nominations for Mikhail Baryshnikov and Leslie Brown for 1977's The Turning Point were a fluke, since both were not known as actors prior to making this drama about, what else, the world of ballet.
Perfectly all right to be an heiress.
Really?
Really, I know. Done swell. You make too much from Caroline and me. But I apologize anyway. Keep doing. Come.
Baryshnikov and Brown each made a couple of films after what I think were these questionable nominations before returning to the profession in which they both excelled. Maggie McNamara may not be a household name, but the film in which she was nominated for Best Actress was considered scandalous in 1953. The Moon is Blue first appeared on Broadway, and the romantic comedy was a hit with audiences. But when it was made into a film, well, that was a different story. McNamara had toured with the play before being cast in the movie as Patty O'Neill, an outspoken actress whose free-thinking attitudes belied her own lack of experience with men.
It's perfectly all right. We'll have a drink first, and then we'll find a needle, and then you can sew my button on before we go.
Bachelors don't have needles.
Oh, I'm an unusual bachelor. You won't mind coming up, will you?
I'm not so sure. Would you try to seduce me?
I don't know. Probably. Why?
Why? A girl wants to know.
So what caused the film to be released without a production code seal of approval, resulting in it being banned in several parts of the country? Take a listen to this shocking piece of dialogue.
I'm so glad you don't mind.
Mind what?
Well, men are usually so bored with virgins. I'm so glad you're not.
Yep, because the film contained the words virginity, seduction, mistress, and pregnant, it was billed as being for adults only, where it was allowed to be shown, that is. As for Maggie McNamara, the controversy didn't do much for her subsequent career, which included Three Coins in the Fountain, The Cardinal, and some television guest starring roles, before she retired from acting in 1964. Afterwards, McNamara worked as a typist to pay the bills, and she suffered from depression, which led to her suicide in 1978 at the age of 49. Some additional actors whose film careers didn't live up to their Oscar-nominated roles include Best Supporting Actress nominees Peggy Cass, repeating her Tony-winning role of Agnes Gooch in 1958's Auntie Mame.
Oh no! Spirits do the most terrible things to me. I'm not the same girl.
What's wrong with that?
Will it mix with Dr. Pepper?
He'll love it. Drink.
Cass did achieve notoriety as a panelist on the long-running game show To Tell the Truth. Mary Ure in 1960's Sons and Lovers.
You don't find that amusing, Mr. Morrell.
Why should I?
Most men do. They laugh at us. But they're really frightened.
What are we frightened of?
The idea that we're as good as you are.
Grayson Hall in 1964's The Night of the Iguana.
You're through, Shannon. I'll see to that. When I finish with you, there won't be any place left to hide.
It's all right, Miss Fellows. Virtue is triumphant. Yours, of course.
Wait. Just you wait.
And, of course, the infamous Jocelyn Lagarde, who, following her American debut in 1966's Hawaii, never appeared in another film.
I know little bit English already. How you mean it? Help my people.
Help them to know God.
And reading, too, and writing.
Writing? Ah, this is good. It is our need. In 1 month time, I learned plenty writing.
Dexter Gordon was a successful jazz saxophonist who worked with such legends as Louis Armstrong, Nat King Cole, Dizzy Gillespie, and Tony Bennett, before making his film debut in 1986's Round Midnight, for which he was nominated for Best Actor.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next selection is a composition that I wrote for my daughter, Jan, who just turned 15.
As Dale Turner, an accomplished saxophone player struggling with substance abuse, Gordon won raves for his performance, despite any previous acting experience.
And at the end of the night, I look at my mouthpiece, and it's all bloody. But I haven't felt a thing. My life is music.
Though Dexter Gordon was a musician, not an actor, many believed he would go on to be in more movies, based on his excellent first film performance. However, only his non-speaking role of a piano-playing hospital inmate in 1990's Awakenings and a guest appearance on the television series Crime Story were his only 2 additional credits. Dexter Gordon was a lifelong smoker who suffered from emphysema, but continued to make music until he died from cancer in 1990 at the age of 67. There is the sad story of an actress's difficulty in finding film work after her historic Oscar win. But before I get to that, I want to thank you for spending your time with me as I journey through Oscar's past. I'm grateful for your company, and I especially enjoy the camaraderie that is built within this community of film and Oscar fans. I appreciate your enthusiasm for these videos, as well as your depth of knowledge about the various topics discussed. After the video concludes with a memorable moment from an Oscar nominee, will you kindly click on the like button, as it tells YouTube I'm doing something right? And if you're not yet a subscriber, join us for a new video each week, as well as the daily polls, where your votes definitely count. I've been an outspoken critic of Miyoshi Umeki's Oscar win for 1957's Sayonara. And while I appreciate and respect her defenders, I still fail to see why she deserved Best Supporting Actress that year. Of course, it wasn't the strongest lineup in the category's history. For her performance as Katsumi, Miyoshi Umeki made history by becoming the first Asian actor to win an Oscar.
We had a surprise.
You like?
Sure I do. Been looking forward to it.
I know everybody tonight.
Yeah.
Katie said
They're gonna die, aren't they?
they were living another world on a beautiful lake, floating always together.
Umeki began her performing career as a nightclub singer in Japan, eventually recording for the RCA label from 1950 to 1954, where she sang American jazz standards. Following an appearance on the Arthur Godfrey Talent Scouts program, Miyoshi Umeki was cast in her first film as the wife of an American soldier played by Red Buttons, whose ill-fated love story ends in tragedy. Umeki was a surprise winner at the Oscars that year, and her next major project was her Tony-nominated role in Flower Drum Song on Broadway. Umeki reprised the part of Mei Li in the successful 1961 film version.
Yesterday, I would have been very happy if you loved me. But last night, I learned it was another girl you wanted.
But the actress was only offered mediocre B movies, 3 of which she made, the last being A Girl Named Tomiko in 1963. The Oscar winner worked in dozens of TV shows, including guest shots on Rawhide, Dr. Kildare, and Mr. Ed. She got what was perhaps her highest profile role in The Courtship of Eddie's Father, a comedy series which ran for 3 seasons and for which Umeki received a Golden Globe nomination. Miyoshi Umeki's unique talent as a singer and actress were not properly utilized by an industry who could not see outside the box, and instead cast her only in roles that matched her ethnic background, of which there were few, if not entirely non-existent, for long periods of her career. Following her role as Mrs. Livingston in the 1971 sitcom, Miyoshi Umeki retired to spend time with her family. She died of cancer in 2007 at the age of 78. I know you can think of other Oscar nominated one hit wonders, and I'm looking forward to reading your suggestions. And until the next video, I'll leave you with this.
But don't you think it's better for a girl to be preoccupied with sex than occupied?